Hello internet, we both know why you're here. This is going to be a body paint of the Aire pirate skin from the game Overwatch. To start out, I'm using a light brown eyebrow pencil and I'm mapping out the different features of this just so I have the proportions right. Whenever I'm mapping out something that is multi-layered like this, I think there's like 3 or 4 layers to this skin, I start by sketching out the outermost layer and then I work my way inwards. Since obviously your body shape is not going to be the same as Anna's, and your body shape isn't going to be the exact same as most characters you're going to do, it's always wisest to kind of map things out so you can get at least the proportions right so that the look is recognizable. So Anna has like this jacket on the outer portion. She has this cape that's attached by her shoulders. She has this vest that is right under that cape layer. And then she has a white blouse that is under all of it. I mapped out some of the smaller details, like where the strings are going to be, where those buttons were going to be on her cape layer. Even though these are going to be covered up later, they just give me more of a vision, like a better idea as to how everything is going to look. So they're not entirely necessary, but I enjoy doing them. And then there's the eye patch with kind of its strange angles. So to start out, I just put white Paradise paints on the blouse, and then we're using this kind of really light blue shade, and I made this blue color by mixing white Paradise paints and a blue Bedknight paint. All of the paints that I'm going to be using are water activated. That blue is kind of like this interesting outline to that top layer that she has, where the cape is as well. Once I had the blue down, I went ahead and I put down this brown. This brown is going to be for that cape that she has. And I love this brush, but this brush isn't even made anymore. That is the Made You Look foundation brush. I also went in with a detail brush to get kind of those finer areas. And this is brown paint by Mehron. And this color that I'm using right here is kind of this tan color, and that is just brown and white Mehron paints. And this kind of tan color is sort of this vest that is between the blouse and the cape layer. Keep in mind when mixing colors also that when the paint is wet, it is going to be slightly lighter than when it dries. So even though initially like that tan color looked a bit too light, you could see that it dried quite dark. So you could always do like a little strip like on your hand to see exactly how the color is going to dry. And then I went ahead and put white on my arms because that is that's part of the blouse. So then I took eyeshadow on an angled brush. This is just a cheapo $2 e.l.f. angled brush, and I'm using some light brown eyeshadow, and I'm beginning to add some dimension and map out where everything is going to be. Her collars are really, really long with this. I used a darker brown eyeshadow, and I went ahead and I put shading underneath that vest. I also did shading for like that larger collar. And then I took some light brown paint and I finished up the tops. We have like that strip down the middle, and then we have this X shape, and this is actually the same brown that I used to make the vest. And there's a few of these X's. I also used a very small brush with some eyeshadow on it to kind of add like where there'd be like fabric tugs. So to just add some sort of small fabric folds. I used another brush with some more eyeshadow, and I added some more shading on the neck. As well as shading underneath those X's and along where the shirt folds. And then there's some more brown paint, and I made these strings they should be about the same color as those X's. And then some eyeshadow for shading underneath those. And then I took a baby wipe with like a clay tool underneath it, and I did that because I wanted to make sure that I could make like her button that she has for her cape without like accidentally mixing some color with the brown. So then once I cleared that up, I put white paint down for that. And then I realized that her other button on the other side is actually an anchor shape, so I actually had to zoom in. And it's kind of like this dot with a rod underneath it. And then this U shape underneath that with these tiny hooks on it. And then a rod that goes to the top and this kind of oval shape. And you have that little anchor. I decided to go ahead and add some more kind of like fabric tugging. So this is just straight white paint onto the brown. Whenever you put something like white paint on top of a brown that is this dark, the white paint is actually going to kind of reactivate that lower brown color, and it's going to kind of mix together as it dries. So it might start out as a really vibrant white, but as it sets, it's actually going to become more of the color that is underneath it, which is why a lot of the time you might have to end up highlighting multiple times. So here I'm just highlighting any layers that are stacked on top of each other. So you have the collar, we have the shirt, we have like the tops of those X's as well to go ahead and add some more dimension. There's the tops of the strings. I wanted to go ahead and intensify more of those folds as well, because I felt like the shoulders were a bit flat. So I added some more of this like fabric tugging, foldy looking thing by the anchor as well. Because if it's one thing I can't stand is just when you have kind of a really large patch where there isn't much going on. So our eye patch is pretty simple. We're just putting black paints on there and filling those in. And then I took some bronzer and decided to contour because Anna's face, like her nose, is much, much thinner than mine. So this is just regular bronzer and just kind of like thinning up my cheek and then using a fluffy brush and just contouring the butts off my face, off of my nose, really thinning it up. She has a very, very skinny nose. And then making just sort of a really soft brown smoky eye because my eye was also very, very bland looking. After the brown, that's actually some black as well, and we're just going to kind of smoke that up just a little bit. I like kind of doing that kind of like smoky under eye thing whenever it's something like a pirate because it kind of gives you Jack Sparrow vibes. So then I went ahead and I did like her eye tattoo, and it seems to be this straight line. There's a large swoop on one side, very small swoop on the other. And then there's some nude lipstick. And Anna's hair is white in this, so we got to make the brow white. I tried to map out like kind of the top and the bottom of where it was going. And then you fill in both of those sides. And then I also took the white paint and just tried to add some angles to the eye patch so that it wasn't just this flat surface. Again, having a reference photo up this entire time. Also kind of highlighted the edges there. And I took some brown eyeshadow on one of my eyeshadow brushes and did a little bit of shading all around that. And then this is where we go ahead and change the hair color. So I braided my hair like Anna's in the reference photo. And I'm using the Graftobian walk around airbrush system. And this is the Graftobian FX Aire paint. And I'm just spraying my hair with this. This has been PTBarpun for HalloweenMakeup.com. Whatever day it is that you're seeing this, I hope you're having a good one, and I will see you the next time I do video stuff.